All right, I'm going to say this, the stream is actually started now. So let's
Okay.
say hi. Hello, we're the developers of.
Hello.
I was about to say Ozymandias, no, Fantasy Town Regional Manager. New game title.
However, if you would like to read the Ozymandias EULA, it's up on the page.
Yeah. We haven't gotten around to changing the legalese of it yet. So I'm Ben, one of the developers. We've got here Ollie and Jonathan.
Yes.
Say hi.
Oh.
Also in the chat, we have a few other of the UTS Playmakers, which is the University of Technology Sydney's Game Development Society. So feel free to jump in and say hi as well.
Hi there. My name's Kyle. I'm just going to be watching. This will be cool.
And asking questions, right?
Yeah.
Weren't prepared for me. Don't worry. These are totally organic questions.
Yeah, read the fucking script. All right, well, we'll start with the elevator pitch for the game. So yeah, Fantasy Town Regional Manager. You're the regional manager of Fantasy Town. Got to build stuff to keep all your adventurers happy. So we have different kinds of adventurers up here. All the classic tropes of, like your fighty types, your magic-y types, your religious-y types, I guess. Clerics, that's the one. Your zealots, that's the word. So you place these buildings, which are cards, and they translate into the buildings. So like this, boop. And that gives you all the different follow-on effects of keeping the different classes happy.
Cool. When it comes to classes, do you reckon it's better to diversify what the type of villages you have, or is it better to go like full strat bunch of brawlers?
Yeah, so there's different play styles, and that's like one of the things that we're working towards. We're definitely at the demo phase now, where things are still in production. But one of the big things that we've been looking at is this idea of, you can focus particular classes for certain benefits. There's like kind of like a roguelite system going on where like each playthrough has different things. So maybe in some playthroughs you're trying to cater towards one over the other because of certain conditions, or you're trying to reach a goal or milestone, which can have follow-on effects for the rest of the playthroughs.
Cool.
Ollie, I believe, was ideating on some of those today, if you want to go through them.
I mean, not really, not a whole lot, but
We're starting
Yeah, we got some like really basic ideas. Mostly just stuff like, extra money and extra defense or brawler defense for like
Two for
very
one.
basic stuff at the moment, nothing super advanced yet.
Two for one double buildings and giant-headed adventurers and bigger birds.
Yeah, okay. It was pointed out to me in the last live stream, and it's killing me. I never noticed, we've got these like tiny little cute villages that walk around, right? And we also have these nice birds flying around. And it was only just pointed out to me, the size comparison between the people and the birds really paints a horrific, version of this universe. So we were talking about the idea of having, just every now and then, just one of the birds swoops down and just, picks up one of the villagers and takes them off.
I want to do that so badly.
Yeah.
Ollie, make it happen. Script the birds.
Me? No.
That would be incredible, though. I'd love to see that.
We've been talking recently about including just a bunch of secrets in. So I think the common ones is the ability to pet a dog. Where we're thinking of having a little dog walking by and you could click on it and pet it, because every game needs petting dogs. Something hidden behind a waterfall. I think we wanted it in one of these rocks over off in the distance. We want to put in a little waterfall effect, and if you scroll the camera in, you can find something.
But the question is, what's hidden behind the waterfall?
What's hidden behind the waterfall? We could just put something boring like a treasure chest or whatever, but I reckon there's something we could do there.
I reckon you put the dog that you pet.
Yeah.
And then when you pet the dog, the Skyrim intro starts.
It fades to black, and this is where you find Frog Fractions 3. Do you reckon we could get
Frog Fractions 3 is just Skyrim within our game.
Yeah, I was gonna say because what's the name of the Frog Fractions guy? Twinbeard. I've got his real name.
Have we thought of adding a newspaper event that's just like adventurer wakes up after a long night on a cart?
We
trying to cross the border.
Add it to the list. Yeah.
Sure, please do.
Yeah, we have a lot of good ideas.
Oh, right. So this game is basically what happened when we came together and decided that we really like playing RPGs and we like the funny, silly stuff that happens in an RPG game like D&D. And we wanted to explore the more satire end of that and what a world looks like where you're in this world, but you're definitely not one of the adventurers on their.
Yeah, you're not one of the chosen few that gets to participate in this world in the way it's designed for. So the specific the actual like flashpoint of like the nebulous of this idea starting was I was reading through the D&D Player's Handbook. And I was reading through the costs of the items because there's like this whole section where there's like every item you could possibly imagine in like a fantasy world, right? And I was reading them. They're all like 2 or 3 copper each, like the stuff that like average people would use on a day-to-day basis, right? They're all really cheap. And then you've got like a health potion, and a single health potion, and I think this is literally included in the like little opening scroll, but a single health potion is like the cost to like feed a family of villagers for a month. And just this idea of like, what is the economy of this world? What is the economy where like you just have adventurers chugging health potions, meanwhile there's just like these starving villagers off to the side, barely getting by. I'm like, how does that work? And basically the idea was that like the only way to get by in this world is to like cater it towards the adventurers themselves. So every single building in your towns, you know, they're all blacksmiths and watchtowers and like stuff built specifically for like the adventuring class. And that's kind of where this idea of like, you know, if you base your whole economy around just attracting different adventurer types.
Yeah, I love the idea that like there's just this one company just making all these villages for the sole purpose of just adventurers to go to them and make this fantasy corporation just more money.
I think currently the name that we've got, we might change it in the future when we do a few rewrites. I think we call them Guild Co. Of just like the adventuring guild.
That is the most generic.
Well, dude. The name of our game is Fantasy Town Regional Manager. All right, we're not playing against like stereotypes.
Yeah. So, as you've probably noticed, we have that newspaper, and the newspaper is full of events that are happening each day, and that has become our outlet to talk about all the weird stuff that has ever happened to us playing D&D. It is linked together, and the events are mostly canonical. And that is mostly in the most broad way possible.
We were watching this. So we realized that we were having like redirects to our store page from YouTube, and we were confused by this because we haven't posted anything on YouTube. So we looked it up, and apparently there's this like one German streamer who is playing our game. And so I obsessed with this idea. Turned on like the YouTube's auto translate to translate the stuff he was saying in German into English, and it was just like a very dry reading of all of these jokes, and it was fantastic. Like all of these like pop culture references or like meta jokes and stuff like that, and like he got them, but like just because like the dry sensibilities, it was just very very interesting to observe.
We actually, sorry, I just looked it up. We actually got another video 1 hour ago. Somebody else has uploaded a video of the demo.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Is it
cool.
in English or is it another language?
I'm not gonna play it right now, but I
Fair
think
enough.
it doesn't specifically say Deutsch.
No, let's just stream that video of the demo playthrough. I'm sure it's more interesting than whatever the fuck we're doing here.
It's definitely like kind of surreal to like see other people that I don't even know just playing a game that I made.
Oh yeah, it's wild. Like it is a completely foreign experience to see people on the other side of the world like post in your message board telling you that your game is broken. Like we've fixed bugs before, but we have never fixed bugs from people overseas where it turns out the localization issues in the game, like the fact that operating system's language settings were set to another language was causing the game to break, which was one of the most difficult bugs we've ever had to fix because we had to change. Ollie, I'll give you your credit.
Yeah, me, I spent the entire night changing my operating system to different languages to make sure that was actually the issue.
Yeah, so making sure that was all working.
I think the coolest thing that we got from that was Ich liebe solch Spiele wär cool, wenn das auch für Switch rauskomme. I had to translate that, and that was, I love these kinds of games. I wish this would come to the Switch.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. That was like one of the comments on the thing. Yeah, that was good.
It is the most encouraging thing I've ever read in my life.
I mean, if Nintendo...
Yeah, if there's a Nintendo rep on this stream... Yeah, Nintendo, we will gladly take your money. Everyone's begging for it, okay? It'll be a really good business deal.
Our game would work on Switch as well because it does have touchscreen controls.
Yeah, it would work. You could do touchscreen. You could use the analog stuff. I reckon we could put in like a few control things. I remember there was the idea of like doing a mobile port at some stage.
This on a mobile screen would just be hell from a UI perspective.
Yeah, like we have.
I don't even consider this.
Yeah, this was definitely PC first.
That being said, like, I reckon there is a version of this UI that would work, especially with the cards. If you were thinking like a vertical layout, you could totally have like the cards at the bottom of the screen, like not taking up too much space. This stuff you can kind of pack in.
Like vertical layout, and you play it like Hearthstone.
Yeah, you play it a bit like Hearthstone, and then if you made the newspaper so each of these articles was like in a row or like in a single column. And you could then you could scroll because then it's just like reading Reddit, and like the idea of this newspaper, like the reason we've written them as they are is because they're supposed to basically be tweets. Like the idea of the newspaper articles, we don't want to give you like bogged down a ton of information to read. They're just like a bunch of dumb jokes that you can read through, and some of them have an effect on your town. So like for instance, the rat shortage one. We have this idea of, hey, low-level adventurers need like really weak enemies like rats to fight to level up. And there's been a shortage, so you need to purchase a bunch of rats for the villagers to fight. And just like stuff like that, and it has roll-on effects into your town that kind of change how everything works.
So, yeah. We're currently just placing down buildings, going through the tons. We have this really weird shaped grid.
Yes.
And it makes every time that a building goes down, I'm really interested to see what kind of shape these buildings.
Yeah,
like
that like this one there. As soon as you
Yeah.
put that down, I'm like, I've never seen that shape before.
It is my favorite putting these like little L-shaped buildings in the triangle spots because they kind of loop back in on themselves. They're always really fun.
It's absolutely bizarre architecture, but it's really funny to look at.
Yeah, and it makes the whole thing feel organic. That's the important part, right? Is that we didn't want a lot of city builders. Jonathan, I think as you've put in the past, at a certain point they start feeling like spreadsheets. It's like I don't care where I'm placing the buildings. I just like am trying to get my stats up. Whereas the thing we were trying to avoid is having that being the case. So like we're like, hey, what if placing the buildings themselves, like it actually has this like visual thing flair to it?
Yeah, we wanted the actual like placing of buildings to feel good and be kind of fun to do. Like I wouldn't say it's the most fun thing to do, but it feels good.
That being said, the amount of planning that went into what came out of this is quite haphazard. Like a lot of it was 4 separate people working on 4 separate features that collided together, and then we just doubled down on the features that worked.
Yeah,
kind of.
And to make the buildings also feel good to place, I had to optimize the actual placement of the buildings because we had an issue where you place a building and it would just take like maybe a second to place. The game would just freeze. I had to fix that.
From memory, the reason for that is because it was running through like every single vertice on the map to try and find something.
No, it was every vertex of the building. But
that's right. Yeah.
So because earlier versions, most of the buildings kind of looked the same but had different colored roofs. But now as you can see, have more unique looking buildings. Like we've got the market, the shrine. We got this brewery.
I think that's been the biggest change, like in visual flair over the past few months. Is the fact that like you can because previously like the color of the roofs was the distinguishing feature, whereas now it's actually like every building, like you could make all of these the same colored roof or whatever, and like you could still tell this one's a tavern, this one is a blacksmith.
I think the only real one that actually had any uniqueness to it was the farm.
Yeah.
Oh, and the towers as well.
Yeah, that's true. These ones over here, these have always been kind of cool.
Those were the only ones that had any like actual visual distinctiveness. But now we want every building to like look unique. You don't want to just identify it by color because it's a bit boring. So yeah, we wanted to add more unique looking buildings. So then I made the farm with all its wheat in there. It's very detailed. And then I realized, oh, this is running awfully slowly. So I spent like 2 weeks trying to optimize just placing the buildings so it felt really good, but also could be really detailed at the same time.
Is the objective of the current game still just to survive as long as you can, or is there an end game?
Yeah, no, it still very much is a roguelite setup. So this demo, it basically takes you through what like your first playthrough of the final product would look like. Kind of just like, working out what all the mechanics and stuff are, working out how everything fits together. And then over time, we want to be introducing new elements, so like introducing new buildings, new, more complex kind of event chains, stuff like that. Like the idea of we can kind of unravel some of the game over time, having different achievements. We were thinking like that, we had like achievements in the original version of the game, and one of the things we thought is that like it'd be cool if the achievements have an effect on the final, like the final town, rather than just being something that like unlocks a Steam achievement. And that's where this idea of like a roguelite perk system comes in. So like in one run, you're like, I'm gonna focus entirely on brawlers this run because I'm gonna get the brawler related achievement. And then once you've unlocked that, every future run kind of gives you something. Maybe it's like extra events. Maybe it's this idea of like if anybody's ever played the game Hand of Fate, that's a really fun example of kind of like the content increases over time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We definitely want to lean more towards the roguelite elements of the game. Emphasize more on that because we don't want it to just be a one and done. We want to add some like replayability because we're really proud of what we made.
I still really like what the German guy's feedback on the game was. Simple gameplay, fun newspaper, unclear long-term motivation.
Yeah, that really hit home. Like I want to make it so that this game has a clear goal.
It's unfortunately really hard to do with the demo because what we've done to make sure that it's not absolutely riddled with bugs and unbalanced gameplay is we limited the thing to 15 turns because beyond that we didn't really have as much content as we wanted to show to make it look as polished as it does here.
Yes.
So in the end we cut that, but the idea would be that you play this through multiple playthroughs, and so the motivation would be to keep getting further and keep unlocking new buildings, and continue to find the unique things that happen along the way.
Yeah.
That I'll leave out for now, but yes.
Yeah. Mostly we just kind of want to make it so you play it run, you kind of understand how to play the game more, how to balance your stats a bit more, and then you can use that in the next run. And then maybe in the next run you unlock something to help you in that next run you do. And then, you know, the further you get along, the better you get, the more stuff you get for your next run, etc.
Yeah, there's this interesting idea that we've kind of realized from seeing people play the game is that a lot of people play the game and enjoy the game, but for completely different reasons. So some people's entire, like, people are like, you know, they play the game as a means to get to read all the newspaper articles. Some people don't care about the newspaper articles whatsoever and are just like, I just want to play a strategy game. Some people just really like making pretty towns. So I think we had in one of the early demos, or like early beta groups, people like just fill up this entire map with as many buildings as they possibly could because they were like, I want to make it pretty. I want to group all the different buildings together and stuff. Yeah,
very impressive. We're getting people saying like, I've played for 4 hours now. And be like, where?
Yeah, I've got a friend who's played for like 20. It's insane.
That's
how did
played or just left it on?
I think he just left it running.
Yeah, I was gonna say because if you,
I'm pretty sure he's the one that's played the game the most on Steam.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the most Steam hours out of anyone.
I really wish there was a leaderboard for like number of hours.
I wonder if that's going to translate over when it comes out though.
I think it does.
Yeah, because I actually have released this as the demo is the same package as the final game, so they're not two different games. This is the final game that will just disappear from your library after the next fest.
Yeah.
Oh, that beach looks good now.
Oh, I know. Yeah, this like ripple effect thing that you've done. It's great.
Very nice.
Yeah. I always like. There we go. There's the return to town button. I was wondering if it was going to show up. We still have this feature, which Carl, you probably remember.
Yep.
Where if you go for long enough, and it's just like, there we go, and then just after a little while, it takes you back itself. I did not control my mouse just then, by the way. It like takes control of your mouse. So yeah. So for context, Kyle was in the original subject with us. So we did this as a student project to start. And we kind of, after the project, we were like, oh, this is really cool. We want to make this a full game. And the teacher for that subject, the subject coordinator, whenever we did a playtesting session, the first thing he would do was drag the camera as far out as possible just to see if it would break. So we put this feature in of like having a button to return to town specifically in because we know there's going to be more people like him playing the game.
What his original suggestion was put like a hard border around the thing so the camera can't move.
Yeah,
and this is so fun.
I like the humor behind this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the fun thing that we try to do for all of them. So like one of the other ones was like, you know, every building is destructible, right? Like you can click on all the buildings and you can like pop them for refunds. And the thing is like there's this central building, there's your guild hall. And we were like, okay, cool. We like the guild hall always being there. We don't want it to be destructible, but it would feel weird if you clicked on it and nothing happened. So I won't do it for this demo, for this stream, because then I have to quit the game and start again. But when you click this button and destroy, refund the town center, when you when you destroy this, it basically comes up with a newspaper just being like, insane town mayor like destroys their own guild hall, and it just causes a game over. So when we were working on the refund button, we were just like, okay, cool, we could put a cost tier or a refund or something, and we're just like, don't. That was the resolution to that story. Yeah. I'm wondering. Oh, you go.
I was just gonna say, because I mean, I've played this game like quite a lot, like really extensively, probably more than anyone else here. But I just love the adventurers walking around the town as he plays more buildings down. It's just such a nice effect.
And
Totally seeing that every time I play.
It's cool because I think there's some kind of scaling where, you know, as you place more buildings, like it makes the town look more and more packed. Because it definitely,
does.
We've definitely
there's
been.
A function, of how many adventures are there based on the number of buildings, based on the size, the extent of the town, or something like that.
Yeah,
like
so,
actually
something like that.
So, like, if you place buildings like on opposite sides of the town, like there's more chance of them walking across and stuff. Yeah.
No.
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 I think no. No. It's based on how long the road, how much road length there is. I think.
Oh yes, no, that's correct. Yes, because like, you know, so the way we build it is that like when you place this down, it does like a path find to like join your newly placed building with the closest road. So I think if we like, hold on, if we place one all the way over here, it'll try and find one. Like it'll probably join down that way. Yeah.
Wait, hold on, zoom in on that. I want to see that little forest path.
Which this one.
Yeah, that looks so cool.
It's nice. It's also great when you zoom in real close and you get this nice little tilt shift effect, where you know things kind of like blur out as you're moving.
Looks so good.
It makes
It's fun to work with Ollie because we will just like step away from the game for like 2 weeks, and then we'll come back and we'll be like, okay, I've revamped the camera. We now have this new camera effect on here. Also, we have grass now because I was just watching grass shader in my spare time.
And not only that, I want to see it happen. Does the wind effect still happen?
It does. It's very subtle though. We really
very subtle and very occasionally. So much.
Have any plans to add?
Sometimes I think that it's not there anymore and we broke it.
We could probably increase that just a tiny bit.
I've been meaning to do like something else to make it look a lot nicer, but also, yeah.
If we want to answer,
just make it look nicer.
If we want to answer some stream questions, we have somebody on here asking, do you have any plans to add sexy kaiju to the game?
Yes.
Yes. I don't have any plans.
Shrek is in the game.
Shrek is in the game.
No. It's not Shrek.
It's legally distinct, not Shrek. Hold on, it might actually be the next turn.
I have the official response to this, so hold on.
Okay.
Do you have any plans to provide me with digital women? Yes.
Yeah, we had budget cuts and we had to let go of our kaiju voice
via the marriage feature. Oh, why isn't this guy working for us? He's got good ideas.
Marriage feature. I'm waiting for the day we have patch notes that say implemented marriage.
It's just we put in like a sneaky farming sim. Like if you click on the farms often enough, like you can just like, you know, start doing it. You can you know, it just becomes Stardew Valley.
I still love like going from that one build where we had like no post-processing to the one with post-processing and how just different and better the game looked.
Oh yeah, because the post-processing effect, we put in some like color grading so everything is a bit more vibrant. There's obviously like the tilt shift stuff. What were the other effects that you put in?
Now, I remember I added the color grading and then I added ambient occlusion. And then I was just like, I wonder what happens if I put in depth of field. And then I did, and now we got tilt shift.
Yeah. Nice.
You put in the depth of field that I'm like, can you pattern it?
No, I think I put it in, and I remember playing around with it, and you're like, can we tie this to the camera somehow so that you can do a tilt shift?
The cool part about the depth of field is that like it's not just based on distance, it's also based on the height of the camera. So as you scroll it down, it gets stronger. So you kind of like, you know, you can still view the town as a whole when it's all zoomed up. It doesn't get all blurry.
I also talked about with Jonathan at some point was adding just a full-on photo mode to the game.
Yeah.
Like when you could just scroll in, press a key, and then you know, like in other games with photo mode, like the little menu comes up. You could alter the depth of field and the colors and everything. Like
it transforms into Pokemon Snap.
I mean, with the camera revamp that's coming, it could happen.
You know what? You have it where you just go into like adventurer mode and you can walk around on the roads and stuff.
Wait, this is just gonna go into a whole like list of different things we could add. Oh, there's the show.
We could do it though. We could 100% do that. Adventure mode. I mean, like, the geometry is nothing special, but still.
Oh, I was gonna say, then we'll need to add like deer and rabbits that roam around in the forests.
Would they also be giant too?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Mr. Mostly Worldwide, here's your sexy kaiju. You can get an ogre. One of the original ideas. So we've got this thing of like a story event, which we totally. I think it's only like 2 events for the demo, but we want to eventually make it like a full on like your entire playthrough is dedicated to reenacting the movie Shrek. So you get like there's like a small chance that this spawns like one of the first turns, and then like it just keeps going. But at the moment, it's like you can like send the ogre on a quest to reclaim his land, and then I think in a few turns it's like they learned the power of friendship. That's
not okay. So going back to the marriage thing, how do we not have a marriage event?
How do we not?
We have
insane town mayor gets married.
We have an event of 2 adventurers who join your town going on a honeymoon. I think that's one that I wrote.
No. We need an option for the mayor to get.
They just if they click on a single villager often enough, it just like little heart icon starts sprouting. It's like cool, make you my wife.
Ketamine Frog asks, what do you do to keep the newspapers from repeating too much? Just have a lot of them.
Yeah. Limit the demo to 15 turns.
Now we actually have quite a lot. I think it's just we have
over 200 events for this.
Yes.
We have a lot of events, but we have a lot of flavor text ones, which do repeat more often, but they're kind of like they're very short.
For the purpose of the demo, you'll never get a repeat.
Yeah.
Sorry. There's one situation which you'll get a repeat.
Is there? I don't think there. Okay. Because I planned it out so there's. I actually don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. You'll figure it out.
Okay. So the flavor text ones from memory, those ones do sometimes repeat more frequently than the main article ones, which are the ones that you can interact with.
Yeah, Ollie's talking about the advertisements. Yeah, the advertisement cycle quite a bit. Yes,
that is true, but they're pretty auxiliary. So that's these ones here, like in this little box. Yeah, those repeat. So for the demo,
the main ones don't repeat.
For the demo, one of the reasons we limited it to 15 turns was partially because of balancing, but also because of like making sure that we don't repeat events. So we had 200 fully authored events, and then we cut them back to about 60 or so. And the idea of that was like we just wanted to pick the best ones to show off.
Do we have any chain events in the demo?
Yes, we do. So the ogre is actually a chain event.
Oh, okay.
It just happens to be a very short chain event. There's also one. The reporter doesn't know how dates work. We missed it because I wasn't paying attention. But this was the one article that made that German streamer laugh.
And also the only one that repeats.
Does it repeat?
It does repeat.
Oh, okay, yes. We have a chain where the reporter's like, I think I'm stuck in a time loop, and that happens 3 times, and then this event happens.
Oh man. I think. Wait, is the Dragon Denier event? Is that chain running right now?
Yes, it is, but I think I had to edit it so it's not as much of a. I don't think it goes on as long as it previously did.
If
Right.
you hover over do the tooltips still show you like what negative effects you have?
Yes, they do. There we go. So we've got, plus fine from wine replacement, and I think the inverse from wine making is there.
Okay.
Yeah. So these tooltips will get a bit of a polish and style update to them, hopefully.
Yeah, I was about to say we definitely need to fix those up a bit.
Look, they're functional. They're not the worst thing in the world.
It's a feature, not a bug.
Yeah. I just realized I don't think I have the music on. I should turn some of the music on.
Turn on the subtitles.
Yeah. Oh, I've got the sounds running. Sounds are running all right. I just didn't have
I can't
music.
hear it. So.
Nah, that's all good. I think that's because it doesn't share on the Discord stream. But yeah, Jonathan, as well as being a game developer, has also made all of the music for this game. If you want to talk about some of that.
That's part of being a game developer. Is look, it's so much different to making music for the sake of making music, because somebody tells you what to make music for and what it's supposed to sound like. Especially when they say, "I want fantasy hip hop," you're like, "What the shit do I do with this?"
Yes.
And this is kind of what you get.
So we started making this game roughly around the time there was like this trend on YouTube of a few like musicians making like covers of pop songs, but in the style of like old-timey fantasy music. And I think the subgenre was coined. I think it's called bardcore. So we're like, yeah, our entire game soundtrack is going to be bardcore, where we just have like hip hop styled fantasy music.
Wait, wouldn't it be like BDM instead, like bard dance music?
BDM.
No.
That sounds very explicit.
Style. So I now remember Bardcore, and I now know that I really wanted to call the soundtrack now This Is Bardcore.
Oh, that was the end of the demo. Whoops, that was quick.
Oh, did you enter the demo?
I just entered the demo. I didn't realize that. I'll just restart. It's fine. Yeah. Also, we're just going to use this as a sneaky moment to plug our Twitter. Please follow us on Twitter if you use Twitter. It's the only marketing that we do, because all I do is just shitpost on Twitter all day.
It's not even the team account. It's actually just Ben's personal account.
Basically, yes. Oh, has something changed? Oh, my screen has stopped sharing, so that needs to be fixed.
The stream just went down.
Yeah, it did, and I think, is that going to knock all the videos out of place? No, it's back up and running. It's all good.
The stream?
The actual, like, the stream to Steam.
It says broadcaster is offline. We lost everyone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That knocked out everything.
Uh-oh. Let's see if it starts back up. It still says it's streaming.
It says broadcaster is offline. Check if you're on.
No, it started again. The kilobits per second dropped down, but they're back up.
Oh, okay.
Just give it a few seconds, and hopefully we didn't.
Because we had quite a few people watching at that time.
1900.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Holy, I had no idea.
All right. Well, let's hope for the best.
Oh, we're back.
We're back.
Yeah, we've got 100. We've got 120 viewers. Let's do it.
Okay.
All over again.
We can rebuild. We can make it stronger. Welcome back to the Fantasy Town Regional Manager live stream. We just broke everything.
Well, yeah. So while I don't know.
Actually, you know what? I actually do have a question. Kyle and anybody else in this chat who is seeing this project back when it was like a student project, what have you seen from this that's like the most notable change from your memories? Because it's super weird for us because like, you know, it's a really long-term process, so we see all these changes, but occasionally we'll look back at it from ages ago and it's like totally different. I'm wondering if there's anything that stands out in particular.
100% the UI, and I think it's for the best. I think it's a lot more easily readable, and having the, I know you had cards kind of before in the early prototype version, but these cards that you got right now look much nicer, and having them pop up like that, it's a very nice touch.
There was so much effort put into getting all the tweening in this game right. So like whenever you like, you know, destroy a building, like that little animation being tweened. What are some of the other ones that you did? There's definitely these. Oh, there's the newspaper coming in and out. That's a big one. And the quest map. Just like all those nice little poppy animations make a huge difference.
For sure.
Did you notice the grass?
The grass? Oh, there's grass.
Yes.
See, to us, this feels like the same game that we took to the showcase.
Oh,
I see.
see.
I remember was one of the like early things that we wanted to add, but like I was just kind of like, oh yeah, like I could, but I'm not exactly sure. And then like one day I was just like in the shower and I was like, I know.
I know what I will do today. I will create the lawn.
One of the things for me is it's only been maybe in the past few weeks that I've realized like, oh, this is a real game. This is not just like
a real game.
Yeah, it's always been a real game, but I think a lot of the stuff recently of actually having it out on Steam and having it move through, it's like, oh, this feels like a different experience now, but like in my mind playing the game, I still like think it's the one we had last year.
Yeah, like it's like this was a student project.
Yeah.
And now it's like a game that's on Steam that people all over the world can play. It's just like, yeah, it's a weird feeling.
Have we recovered our streamers?
We're up to 480 people.
You know what? I'll treat that as a huge success.
It'll go back up.
We had to bring out that patch the other day, for people with non-American keyboards. Actually, I reckon Great Britain also would have had a problem as well.
It wasn't non-American keyboards. It was language settings, right?
Yeah. I'm talking about UK because UK
because UK still use decimal places for their numbers.
Yeah, so
what are French people using for their numbers?
I don't know.
My guess is commas. So what I think it is like the
because the Germany still uses commas. That's because I remember I was looking at it when I swapped my Windows to German. Like I would get the numbers, but they'd just be like weird. I don't know what happened with the French numbers though.
For anyone who doesn't have any idea what the hell we're talking about, there was this issue where if your operating system's language was set to a different language other than English, it would occasionally freak out. And the reason that was happening is because when we load in all of the buildings, all the positions are stored as decimal values, but different languages store decimal values using like a different coding system, which caused everything to freak out. Which was a very interesting experience to try and debug.
That was pretty funny bug. I've got to say. Like,
yeah, we all thought it was something completely different, and then
we thought it was
some really nice person emailed us with a log about that. Pretty much pointed us.
Whoever you are, friend, that was incredibly helpful. Otherwise, we never would have guessed why it's breaking.
Yeah, because I was like looking through the code and I was like, I have no idea why this is happening. And obviously, you know, the only people we really like gave the game to were close friends, so
yes,
they never had the issue.
We unfortunately don't have many close friends in Germany.
I have friends who are German. The problem is all of them use like American keyboards and American and full English like computer settings. So
Yeah. Doesn't
I love the.
actually,
I
then
love
again,
build everything like.
I did have a coworker who you do all his variables in German. That was fun to work with.
I do love
Sorry,
when
Ollie.
you build all the buildings like really tightly together, and you just see like the little glow of the furnace in the blacksmith.
that's
shadow.
I'm
great.
not sure if it was in the previous like GDS1 build that I saw, but the paths having people walking on them,
That was there, I'm pretty sure.
that was there.
I think that was like there in its
No,
infancy.
That was entirely there.
That was all
That
there.
was entirely
Okay,
Oh
gotcha.
no! I remember this now. It was there for the showcase we had, like the end of semester showcase, but it wasn't there for like the due date of the subject. So like the final internal thing, it was we added it as like a little extra afterwards.
Gotcha.
Which nobody cares about because there's only one person who played the game in that period of time.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, that day-night cycle. It always looks so good to me.
It's very nice. In terms of broadcast, have we got our stream back up in terms of a chat? Let's see if there's any questions being asked through the chat.
There are no questions in the chat.
Nobody's asking questions. We lost the one good question about the kaiju.
Oh no, that's so disappointing.
Oh, no, sorry. About marriage mechanics.
Marriage mechanics, yeah. You know what? Those could be the same thing. I would marry a kaiju.
It's better than the pirate DLC idea, to be honest.
Have you seen Kong vs Godzilla? Like, I'm just saying.
What do you mean? As in like the shoe brand?
Kong vs Godzilla, like the movie. I don't. Is this a bit?
Godzilla versus King Kong.
Godzilla versus King Kong. Yes.
Converse.
Kong.
Not
King
Converse,
Kong.
the brand. Kong. King Kong?
King Kong versus Godzilla.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you broken? not Converse.
The monkey and the lizard. Yes, yeah.
Yes,
I heard Ben say the word Converse, like the shoe, like 5 times.
That's what I heard at the same time, and I was just like, weird thing, but okay.
Oh my god. Okay. So, how many hours is this game still going to be up?
It is not long. This is the tail end. Yeah.
After this live stream ends, it'll be up for 6 hours.
Yes.
Seriously?
It finishes at 3 a.m. Yeah, it finishes at 3 a.m. Australian time.
Tomorrow.
Yes, 3 a.m. tomorrow.
No. You're saying like 3 a.m. Oh no, wait, hold on. 3 a.m. tomorrow would be till June 22nd. Is that inclusive June 22nd? Or?
Yes, it ends June 22nd, 10 p.m. 10 a.m. 10 something.
might be a bad question to ask.
I'm gonna go with PST.
Any questions are good questions, please.
What is the plan for the release date?
That is a good question. It is. We're all friends here, so we can say probably a September release. That's the current goal.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just late this year.
Yeah, it'll definitely be this year. So one of the goals is we want to go to PAX in Melbourne, and we want to have the game out by by that release date. There's also a few like student awards and stuff that we've been looking into. So there's definitely getting the momentum building up. I think we want to really capitalize on all the stuff that's been happening with Next Fest. So definitely September, October at the latest is a good goal for us.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. In terms
What are you
of
guys
like,
gonna
oh, you go.
add? Yeah. What are you guys gonna add for the full release?
Pretty much more roguelite mechanics.
Dating sim style tutorial.
So that's decided on now.
Yeah, it's locked in.
Okay, but
Jonathan's already put a
most-
issue tracker. Yeah.
mostly just like
the original idea for the tutorial was going to be that we'd have like your waifu assistants show up and just be like, "Hey, would you like to learn how to build a town?"
I wonder
And it
if
would be
give
kind
up
of like
Kaiju.
what's that? Is it Dream Daddy?
Yeah.
Like that.
One of
They're just like, "Hey, would you like to build a town?"
One of the developers of the student project part of this, Ed, we were talking last night, who is also a frequent member of the Playmakers community. We were talking about the concept of having Guildhall-chan, just like a personified like anime girl version of the Guildhall that can talk to you. So if we want to build in a waifu,
Buildings.
uh,
You can build buildings.
yeah, so that's what you've got looking forward to. Hopefully, we end up getting a bunch of anime fan art of our guild halls and our different buildings.
Oh man, if I start seeing like rule what is it? Rule 54,
Rule-
rule 69,
Rule 34 of
rule 34
of our different buildings, like
Fantasy Town regional manager, I'll be impressed and disappointed. And
that's
so
when
you
you
know you
made
really
it.
know we've made it. Yeah.
yeah,
to actually answer the question
Oh yeah, there was an actual question to this, wasn't there?
who asked the question?
about what we plan to add for the
Um,
that
Whoa.
was
There's a walls mechanic coming.
Okay, no,
Okay,
we're
but
gonna be
seriously.
serious because like I want to answer this because it is a good question. First off, a
Mostly
ton
just-
more events. That's the big thing.
events and replayability is pretty
Yeah.
much the top of our list.
In entirely that tertiary game loop that sits around what is this being a roguelite game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The
At the
other
moment, like, yeah.
the other stuff that we want to look into is also like making the mechanics we have more integrated and pop more. So, for instance, we have a quest system where you can send people on quests. We have these choices in the newspaper. The newspaper reflects the town, and we really want to like emphasize this stuff and make it cohesive. And I think a lot of that's just clever writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the big one for me. I think we'll, I think in terms of core mechanics, like the actual placing, the buildings, the visual effects, the general interactivity, that's solid. It's just like stringing it all together and making it feel like it's this is really fun and engaging, and you're making meaningful choices.
I mean, that was the big benefit of going through the Steam Next Fest process was we locked down a lot of the core stuff in a way that now it's just extra features we're going to be adding on top.
Yeah.
And instead of like trying to polish the stuff that we have, we can actually spend that time working on new and fun ideas to append to that. Things that make like the possibility space within the game kind of a lot more interesting than it even currently is.
Yeah. And the fun part is like because it's a roguelite, we can add in, a certain degree of randomness and difficulty where, like you're meant to lose in this game. So part of it is like we can do stuff that are, like potential run killers and things. Like we could kind of be a bit wild with it because the idea is that like you're learning lessons every time you play and improving a little bit each time.
We have about a minute left, by the way.
We do.
Oh, let's plug some friends.
That's a great idea. Yeah, you start.
Me or Ollie?
You start. Yeah, Jonathan.
I'll start. Okay. Geez. Okay. I'd like to thank Ben and Ollie. Ben, who are we thanking? And who would we like to point people towards as good games during Next Fest?
All right, that is good. First people we will thank is the Discord server we've currently decided to start intruding, which is the UTS Playmakers. We've been really involved with like this whole community, since this game's inception. And I think, we really, have like used this whole area as like a way to bounce ideas off of and, talk and just like have fun with the whole process. I think making the games has been a lot more fun for the fact that we've like had other people to like share it with. We should also thank the Games with Wings community. So Games with Wings is a New South Wales based like independent developers platform, which is very similar to Playmakers, but I guess with a certain degree of experience. So there's quite a few experienced independent developers who we have always like asked questions and like sought to get some guidance, and have given us like a ton of great advice. I think like a lot of the small stuff in the UI, a lot of the small little polished pieces. The fact that the name of this game is like the different name to what we started with is because of the Games with Wings community. That's a huge one. They were like, hey, the name Ozymandias is a cool joke and it sounds fun, but no one will be able to search it because nobody knows how it's spelt. And even if they did, they would type it into Google and they would get the poem or they would get the Watchmen character. No one would ever be able to find your game. And I think there's just like a lot of stuff like that where they kind of showed us the realities of how it was all made. I think that was really important.
So with that being said, we probably should also mention some of the other Games with Wings titles out there. So one of them is Topple Pop. Go check out what they have in these last six or so hours of Next Fest. Defend the Rook also has a demo out. Do we know of any others from GWW?
I don't know of any others directly through GWW, no.
Cool. Well, the ones we mentioned are pretty cool, and go check them out. They're great people.
They are. And considering it looks like we're ending the stream shortly, I thought we could end it by destroying the Guildhall, because I think somebody in the chat asked for it.
We should finally do that.
Yes. So goodbye, town. It's been fun. Thank you so much for being on this chat with us, everybody.
Phew!